in just a minute. All right. Welcome, welcome, welcome. It is your weekly Full Potential Live Coaching. I'm Dr. Lazar. I've got a great friend of mine and a rock star with nutrition services and functional medicine, Dr. Keith Sarver. And we're really excited because today we're talking about brain health. You know, there's one of the biggest things people talk about is as they age, they are getting more forgetful, or as they're stressed out, they're responding or looking for words, they're responding more slowly, or they're getting frustrated. And so I personally am under Dr. Sarver's care. We have the privilege of having him on our team here in Ann Arbor. He also practices in Flat Rock and in Grand Rapids. So he's all over the place, but that's what happens, you know, when you're the best, everybody wants you. So he's doing a great job with that. So Dr. Sarver, welcome to our live coaching this week. Thanks for being here.
Thank you. Thank you.
Absolutely. So tell us a little bit more about what you do and why you're passionate about brain health, why we're talking about that today.
Okay, one of the things I see in our society today is a lot of inflammatory conditions. And one of the conditions that really is rising to the forefront of consciousness is brain health decline. I think it's earlier and earlier. We see in more and more of these Alzheimer's units being built and early signs of dementia. And it's my contention and my belief, my core belief, that if we take care of our body, which includes the brain, our brain is going to function and do us service a lot longer than a lot of the folks around us. We've kind of resigned ourselves to losing our brains or our memories or our brain function as we get older. And it really shouldn't be that way. We should be able to have a bright, vibrant mind well into our 80s and even 90s.
So how do people know, you know, when my wife, Carrie, when we had 3 kids under 4 or under 5 or something, she was complaining about memory issues, brain fog, and her obstetrician said, well, you've got little ones at home, you're exhausted, that's pretty normal, I wouldn't worry about it. But then when she had your type of testing done, she found out that there really were some things going on in her pituitary gland affecting thyroid function and a lot of other things. But she noticed a huge improvement in mental clarity and focus and restful sleep very, very quickly after, you know, getting some of that rebuilding done that you do. And so how does somebody know if what they're dealing with is something that's just normal, you know, lack of sleep, high stress situation, you know, maybe we're going to have that, or maybe I'm just getting older, versus no, there is definitely something that needs to be evaluated for here? How would somebody know that if they need to ask for your help?
Well, one of the first things we're looking at is their toxicity in their system. So is there an unknown chemical that they've been in contact with, either in their food, their air, their environment? Is there a heavy metal? Maybe it's something that they've had done dentally, or they've been exposed to some other heavy metal in their water, or other sources that we don't even think about until we do the testing oftentimes. And then we're looking often at, is there an inflammatory irritant? So maybe there's a parasitic or a fungal irritant to the thyroid or to the pituitary, et cetera, that's causing that brain dysfunction. So we're always looking at putting the fire out in the whole system, and the brain often is really, really online, much easier and much more connected. And then the synapses in our brains are firing much more clearly. We're getting the words out and the recall and all those things that we think that are just for a young person. And being in your 40s and being, you know, in the childbearing years, oftentimes our biochemistry is thrown off by some of those life events. And then the stressors and the biochemicals and the toxins that we talked about, even foods, can trigger different things that will cause our brains to not function to their optimum. So we just think, well, we're going to take some extra pills. We're going to do this and that, vitamin B or this or that we've heard about that's helped our friend or our relative. And it's really not getting to the root cause. So the testing we do, we're looking at what's the root trigger, what are the triggers many times to that brain function being interfered with.
So let's go down two paths. Let's say there's somebody listening or watching this on social media, and they're not able or whatever to come into one of your offices here in Ann Arbor, Flat Rock, Grand Rapids. They're not able to get in to see you. Are there foods, just in general, are there foods that you recommend people consume or avoid if they're just looking, if they say, look, or hey, I'm going to come see you, I do want this testing, but your schedule is very, very full, so I can't get in for 2 months or something like that? Is there something before they test or until they can test that you recommend people do just kind of on their own?
Well, easy food reduction items would be white refined sugar. That's a big one that will cause problems anywhere.
I find that
Oftentimes it's a
offensive,
grain
by the
sensitivity.
way.
Oh,
Yeah, I
good.
find that offensive.
And
Okay,
that's
so,
the great American addiction, right? But
right.
sometimes it's just that our pancreatic function or our blood chemistry is off so much that we have these cravings that we normally wouldn't. So if we're getting detoxed and our blood sugar imbalances are corrected, then we don't crave that stuff. But until they can come and be checked, obviously, if we just reduce sugar and then maybe even go on a grain reduction, trying different grains that we can pull out, or in different food products such as eggs or milk sometimes will bother some folks. So some folks are going right away to removing gluten from their diet, and that can be an irritant, especially for somebody with thyroid issues like your wife.
Yeah.
So yeah, those would be probably the first steps that we could do, at least in the food paradigm,
Okay.
to see if that will help just a little bit.
Now I'm gonna be your favorite patient here for a minute and say, well, I was watching late night TV and I saw an infomercial about this memory boosting supplement, and so I ordered that, and they keep charging my credit card. But I don't know if I should take it. And then I was at the vitamin shop, and the guy there's some new guy there, and he suggested that I take ginkgo biloba. And then I went to Whole Foods and I talked to a girl there who's a freshman in college, and she's interested in going into nutrition. We had a cool conversation, and she told me to take a vitamin B complex. So I'm doing that. And then I read online that I should be taking vitamin D because I live in Michigan and the sunshine's going down. And so I'm taking 3,000 IUs a day of vitamin D because I just feel like that's a good thing. And then I'm also going to talk to a med spa. A friend of mine owns a med spa, and she said I could come in for vitamin B12 injections, and I heard that will make me clearer. So what do you think about me doing all that, and then I don't have to waste the time and money coming to see you?
Well, a lot of those things are not really going to be absorbable. So it's not what we eat, not the supplements that we take in. So a lot of times, really, we need to get to the root of the gut absorption. So a lot of folks will have digestive issues. So a lot of the supplements and products that you just mentioned are not even made or produced correctly from a whole food organic farming structure. So what we carry, what we utilize, what we test on folks is from those good sources, number one. And then we don't know which form of those things is going to work the best with your biochemistry until we test them on you. So we always take, for instance, for a B complex, we're not looking just at one B complex, but we're looking at a whole variety and different manufacturers. And we're happy to test the one that you bring in too, because a lot of times the one that the patient selected out of maybe good research or maybe recommendation does work for them. So I'm never prejudiced against those products. We just want to find out what works best for them. but we never want to bring in the carpentry crew. We don't want to put in those building blocks necessarily. That's more a second or third step. We always want to work on healing the gut. We always want to work on getting rid of the inflammatory causes that are irritating the nervous system, the brain, et cetera. Before we bring in the carpentry crew, it's always my philosophy, you need to put out the fire first.
Interesting. So, okay, so let's say somebody is watching and they're saying, this makes sense. I've been looking for help with this. We're going into the holidays. I'm worried about the flu. I'm worried about COVID. I'm worried about family gatherings, or we're not gathering this year because we're afraid, or we are gathering, but we're afraid, whatever. Tell our people watching about your event coming up on Monday night. Cause I think that would be a really great next step. I suppose if somebody wants wants to check and see if you can help them, then we'd be happy to set up an appointment for them here in Ann Arbor, or they can reach out to you directly if they want help in Grand Rapids or in Flat Rock. But if they're not sure, they want more information, do you think that your workshop on Monday night, do you think that would be a good next step for people?
Yeah, the workshop would be an excellent way for them to ask personal questions, to see who I am, get a little more familiarity with what I do with patients in the office. I will have a couple of the test kits with me so I can actually show them
Very cool.
the science behind what we do, et cetera. So I think that would be an excellent intro. And the good part is that there is no fee for it. So 6:30 on Monday, we're doing that at the Ann Arbor office, which is really exciting. And that's usually the way I like to do things too. I like to check out and see people face to face and look them in the eye and ask questions and have them answered for me. So we're happy to do that. And relationship and trust is really, really key in my practice. And I think that once that's established, then we're in the healthcare project together with patients. That way, it's not just a online recommendation or something that's not really, really tailor-made to their situation.
I just posted the link. So if you're interested now, because for safety reasons, we're limiting the attendance to 12 people. We had a seat or two left when I checked before this call. So if you're watching it live, sign up there. There's no charge for it. What I would ask is, if for any reason you can't make it, let us know so we can open your seat up to somebody else, because we only can allow 12 people in the office because of physical distancing requirements right now. So we'll do that. There's no charge for that workshop. And then people can come just kick the tires a little bit, see if it's a good fit. My philosophy is this, and tell me whether this makes sense to you or not, but I don't ever know ahead of time if I can help somebody. I don't know if what they have going on is fixable. I don't know if the tools I have would address it, but I do know how to find out. And so what I tell people, and my belief is, look, I may not be able to help you. Look, Dr. Sarver may not be able to help you. That would be kind of silly for me to say up front, oh, I know he can. Well, we don't really know what's going on. But I do believe that you deserve a good assessment, and that if there's any chance that we can help you with something, the question I would ask you then is, do you think we should at least find out? Doesn't mean you have to do anything. Doesn't mean you'll like what he suggests or what I suggest. Doesn't mean any of that. That's all okay. But if there's something that can be done, if you need better brain health, and then your workshop Monday is on the 5 mistakes to avoid going into flu season and the holidays, right?
That's correct.
Okay. So what's that?
Yeah. So we'll be talking a lot about that and tying, inflammatory issues, et cetera. We'll be talking about those 5 factors. So I don't want to really get into that too much today because
Yeah.
I don't want to spoil it for those that are not online here or have already signed up.
Got it.
So I'm
No,
looking
totally
forward
got
to
it.
it. It's exciting.
But so the people that should come to that are people who say, you know what, I want the deck stacked for me. I want to go into flu season and into the holidays and know what to avoid. You know, if there are things we're doing that are sabotaging our immunity, our brain health, our relationships, our gut, all of those things. Again, if there are things that you can learn that can help you and your family live out your full God-given potential, then that's exactly what we want to do. And the whole reason we do that is because we believe that the world deserves the best version of you. The world deserves you at your best. And so if you're held back with low energy or brain fog or immune compromise or any of those things, now is not the season to try to do this on your own. There's, as you know, with the public health climate right now, with the stress levels, with the political, nature of things right now, now is the time for you and your family to get clear, concise answers and a compelling strategy to make sure that you're promoting health in your life and not just avoiding sickness. I'll give you the last word, Dr. Sarver. You can wrap it up however you see fit.
Yeah, taking the fear out of all that, I get questions on a daily basis about the immune system and what they can do to help themselves, and it's so reassuring. I get the feeling of real relief from the patients that they've got some answers when I go through some of those things, and it's such a good feeling to have knowledge and coupled with that hope that you're going to get through and you have answers, real concrete ideas what we can do together in this difficult season that we're in right now.
Absolutely. I'm going to check on the chat real quick and just see um, if anybody has any questions that they've chatted in. If they do, we can answer those. If they don't, we are going to sign off here, and we'll make it a great day. So let's look here. I don't see any questions in the chat, so no problem at all. So everything looks good there. So we are going to be all set. So I'm Dr. Lazar. This is Dr. Sarver. Join us on Monday for our event. And you can get more information at lazarspinalcare.com. Right there on the homepage, you'll be able to sign up for the event if there are still seats available. And we look forward to answering your questions and helping you live out your full God-given potential. And we look forward to seeing you on Monday evening, the 16th, if